Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. I will call the Paulding County Board of Commissioners Board meeting to order on this October the 13th, 2020. And Tommy, if you'll bring the list up, if you would, if you have your phones on, please silence them. We don't have any elected officials. We have one on the phone here. Thank you, sir. Commissioner Stover is calling in today, and just glad to have everyone here. The invocation, I'm going to start calling it Baker Street Quotes, Invocation, and Pledge. And my quote today is, yesterday, I guess you'd say maybe 40 years ago, I was clever. I wanted to change the world. Today I'm wise, so I want to change myself. Okay with you, Chuck? Okay. Let's do stand and have an invocation and a pledge. Thank you for being here. Heavenly Father, we just bow humbly before you, thanking you that we need your wisdom, we need your presence in this meeting. We need your guidance in our lives every day. We thank you for our military, our first responders, those that keep us safe. We just pray protection of our fire department and sheriff's office. We thank you so much for our staff, that the time and the effort they put into making this county better. And we just pray for protection over our county and our families and our nation in Christ's name. Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Under the minutes, action to adopt the September 17th, 2020 work session minutes and September 17th, 2020 board meeting minutes. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion approved by Commissioner Caker with a second by Commissioner Davis. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Under announcements, we still have our technical difficulties, so we're not going to be able to see our Positively Paulding, which I was looking forward to. I will announce, and Rebecca's helped me with the information, that the census sign-up or submitting your information about you and your family has been extended to October 31st, and that involves federal dollars that Georgia and Paulding County can receive, plus our zoning, our number of representatives we have at all levels of government. So if you haven't been able to do that, and if you're listening, or if you listen on Channel 23, you can go to census.gov if you have that capability, census.gov, or you can call Monday through Friday from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock at 844-330-2020. And I'll say that a little more slowly, 844-330-2020, and be accounted for. You and your family be accounted for your household. We have no invited guests this afternoon. Under bid awards, item number 2 is to award the purchase of an asphalt distributor truck in the amount of $191,700 to Tractor and Equipment Company. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve that.
Motion approved by Commissioner Hart's. There's a second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Caker. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And any opposed? Carries 5-0. We hear you out there, Stover. Lydia way in the back is laughing because she can hear you. Okay, item number 3 is bid awards also, which is to award the Costco Drive Widening Project PR-IMP 034-1 to the low bidder CNS Paving in the amount of $155,914.80. Anybody interested in that? You want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion approved by Commissioner Davis. Is there a second?
A second.
Second by Commissioner Stover. In Hawaii? No. I don't know where he is.
He's in a tree stand.
Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries 5-0. Item number 4 is to award the purchase of 8 administrative and response vehicles for the fire department to Hardy Family Ford in the amount of $250,156. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion approved by Commissioner Hart. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Caker. Is there any discussion or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Carries 5-0. We have no reports from committees and departments. Participation on agenda items. We have 2 Mr. Parrises. We've got Ted Parris and Lee Parris. Y'all can come up to the podium and sign the sheet there if you would. And just
I need a sheet.
need a sheet to sign.
We signed one in back.
Oh,
That's it, that's fine.
yeah.
How y'all doing today? Thank you.
Good. Thank you for being here.
I'm Ted Parris, live at 463 Handy Road, Hiram, Georgia. I would have been here this morning at 10 o'clock, but I wouldn't notify, we had no notification this was happening until after it was happening about hearing this. My question, first off, is who was notified?
I'm going to let the county attorney answer that because it's specifically stated in who needs to be.
Okay.
Under state law, the property owners that adjoin the proposed abandonment area are the ones that are legally required to be notified. It is my understanding that DOT notified that party as well as several other parties. Those parties are Hardy Family Farms, Inc., looks like Barry Kelly Emery, Larry D. and Martha Phyllis Paris, John Roger and Brenda Joyce Smith, Linda F. K., Timothy Ryan Smith, Highland Point at Parkside at Waterford Park HOA, Anthony A. Cooper Jr., he's a trustee, Noel R. Dillard, Amy Leanne Smith, Lisa Darlene Ferguson, and I believe these handwritten names, were they? Okay. And that's the list of folks that were notified.
Are all of those adjoining property owners?
My understanding is no. The only adjoining property owner, I believe, is Mr. Cooper.
Okay. Who chose the property owners to notify?
I believe that DOT made a decision to notify the people that were on the, is that Smith Road?
Yes, that's correct.
Smith Road south of the creek.
Okay, doesn't matter about the people north of the creek that access the road or have the possibility to access the road that's lived there for years and accessed it? I mean, why would we not be afforded the same right?
The law only requires that the adjoining owners be notified. I believe that the owners on Smith Road were notified because this has more of a direct impact on them. They don't own land adjoining, but that's the rationale for that decision.
Okay, that's not rationale. I'm asking, why would the landowners that do not adjoin it be notified and handpicked by certain people, but the others not be afforded the same opportunity to be here and know about this and be notified of it? I understand that you have to notify by law the adjoining property owners, but when you go outside of that and notify others, why would you not notify all the surrounding property owners that may access that? how do you hand pick the property owner to notify?
I'll answer that.
And let me say too, Mr. Jones, there is a point at which the law requires certain people be notified, and then there's a point at which we have to make a decision to stop notifying the entirety of the county regarding
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, I agree.
As this has been an issue for probably the last 15-plus years now, we felt it was best as the DOT to notify the folks that were on the portion of Smith Road south of Mr. Cooper's property about this hearing, the property owners. However, we didn't go on Handy Road or any of the other adjacent roads. At a certain point, who was going to be notified and who wasn't? Obviously, there was public information put in the legal organ, which is, I believe, for interested folks to be able to attend these hearings. But again, I felt we went above and beyond by just notifying the property owners that were south of Mr. Cooper's property on Smith Road.
And I would say this too, this is certainly an opportunity to make the board aware what your concerns are regarding the proposed abandonment.
Yeah, so the road has always been accessible up until the flood. At the time of the flood, I'm assuming the county had funds at that time to reconstruct the crossing there. We had paid taxes in, others had paid taxes in, so the county had an obligation to reconstruct that and keep that road opening, and chose not to do so for whatever reason. But I feel they had an obligation because I, as a taxpayer, paid taxes to keep the roads open, just as anybody else does. I access the road, and many others do too. An interesting thing that happened here back in the spring, to bring it really to point about what this is it's access for emergency vehicles. We had the storm come through, and it blocked us off. We had no access out or any emergency access into us. We had a huge tree fall on the house there beside Smith Road, and had Smith Road been open, which I feel the county's obligated to continue to make it open, they had the funds to construct that crossing and didn't. There could have been access then by an emergency response to get to someone or to get them out. We're not afforded that. We didn't get that, and we don't get it because it remains closed. Abandoning this road as an access for emergency vehicles could mean a life at some time. So I just don't understand the reasoning the county did not move forward as they did with all the other bridges in the county, all the other crossings in the county during the flood, and reconstruct it.
I believe it was closed at the creek in May of 2009, so this happened before the floods. It was closed at that point in time. I know the county had received some money from FEMA to put back crossings that were damaged during the October 2009 floods. However, this crossing was not able for that funding because it was closed before that. In addition, to put back a structure that would meet any type of crossing in regards to flow, water, it would need additional right-of-way and work. You would be encroaching on Mr. Cooper's property at that point, and he has not been willing to provide the workable right-of-way and easements for that structure.
What is the right-of-way needed?
Typically on a road like Smith Road, any local road, 2-lane, we look for a 60-foot right-of-way. I don't have the plans in front of me right now that we had some preliminary work on for the Smith Road crossing, but you're going to need a substantial amount of area to construct a bridge.
What amount would the road need to be? The road width, though, is what I'm asking.
We look for a 22-foot road width, approximately 6 to 8 foot shoulders, drainage ditch, so you're looking at a 60-foot right-of-way total.
So what was the reasoning for not reconstructing it then? It was because of the width? We couldn't get the width to construct the road safely?
Make a motion that we continue the time.
Second.
This is, just for clarification, this public participation is supposed to be comments from citizens with a 5-minute limit, but understanding that you were unaware of the hearing and had some questions and concerns, we kind of going outside the lines a little bit.
Okay,
So
I'll wrap up real quick.
So that's fine. We want to make sure get questions answered, but I think, Jason, do I need to make a motion we continue this discussion?
I think you've made a motion to
Okay.
allow him additional time, and there's been a second, so discussion and vote would be appropriate.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Caker. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So, Mr. Paris, continue with your comments. This is designed to hear your comments more than just a Q&A session.
I understand.
Because I know both these gentlemen down here would be willing to sit and talk with you for hours.
And I'm trying to understand how we got to this point where we're not notified that they're closing a road that has been open for years and what the reasoning was behind it. There's other roads in the county such as Hanlon Road, which is 12 to 16 foot wide in areas. It's a 2-lane road. You have Mount Olivet Road, which is only 18 foot wide between the trussels there, and it's a county maintained and accessible road and safe. So as far as what they want to build and what they can build and what they should have built, there was tax money collected for that. And so that's my point is I believe it should remain open for emergency access and as another access. And I think the county shouldn't just get lazy by it and say, well, we just can't construct it. I think they need to try and get creative and figure out a way. I think we're beyond that point now because I think there's been a deal made where, if I'm understanding right, to Mr. Cooper. So for the trade to avoid litigation some way or whatever. I'm not sure how that deal was made either without bringing it before the public. And but, you know, that's up to the attorneys to figure out.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
I may want to reserve or preserve my constitutional rights too for further down the road. I'm not sure where this is going, and I wasn't, like I said, I don't understand how you can handpick people to be notified and knowing that we've been living on that road. He said himself, it's been going on for years. We've been involved in everything we could be involved in. How was it not? How are we not notified? So, you know, I just want to say that.
Well, I think it's a valid point. It's just, as the county attorney said, it's difficult to know where to stop, where to rein it in, but y'all have been involved in this the whole time. I was in Ron's seat, and even before that, you know, it's been on the schedule off and on to discuss. Rebecca, do you know which one of these items was supposed to be the return to the public hearing?
I think he's speaking on action item, new business, number 8 there.
However, we didn't add that work session, so it now becomes, that public hearing now becomes an agenda item. If you want to have a public hearing, then certainly.
Yeah, let me address it, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
Right now, we have 2 citizens that are here to address this board on this particular item, Smith Road. The Smith Road item is new business item number 8, action to adopt resolution 20-39, abandoning a portion of the county road known as Smith Road. The public hearing that was had this morning was a time for the public to give input on whether or not they believe that the road should be abandoned or should remain open. I believe that both Mr. Parrises are here today to voice their opinions during this opportunity as to whether or not that road should be closed or be permitted to remain open. At the present time, when that agenda item is reached, number 8, you will at that time solicit any motions to see whether or not that resolution should be approved or some sort of other action should occur.
So, since this is also the time where participation on agenda items. This is an agenda item. We can continue with Mr. Lee Paris's remarks, or we need to just hold off until we get to new business number 8.
No, we would continue with Mr. Lee Paris's remarks.
Okay.
Ted, were you done? Were you?
That's fine.
Good afternoon. I appreciate the time y'all have afforded us, and I'm certainly not going to reiterate anything my brother said to not belabor all of those points, which were valid points, and I understand his frustration. I am a little confused, and gosh, Dave, you, Scott, y'all know this has been an ongoing issue for, a few years, and y'all have always been more than, welcomed us to talk about it, and we've had a lot of discussions. Matter of fact, gosh, I think Scott, when Commissioner Austin was chairman, he and us, and they met with us and some other residents and Commissioner Austin, and we looked at what it would take actually to formulate some kind of crossing. That we come up with I think Scott and his team came up with a feasible design without getting the right-of-way that would allow traffic safely through that road. But I think somehow, some way that got litigation got involved, and that kind of got stopped completely. I did appreciate that working with us in that manner, and the residents that's there that live there. That road's been open for, gosh, over 100 years, like a lot of them in the county, and been used by the community, and it's vital to the people that live there for various reasons. Everybody's probably got different reasons why it's vital to them, but it's not just a sentimental thing, so to speak. It is useful. It's a useful corridor, especially like my brother said, when that storm hit, and two of my brothers had trees on both ends of the road. They had no way to get out, or nobody to get into them. Thank God nobody got hurt. But I think from a county municipality standpoint, when you've got something that does serve the communities and does serve residents, to in no matter what degree it is, if it's small, if it's large, taxpayers down through the years have contributed their money to that road, and it'd been county maintained as best as it could, in where it was at, and in the right of way that was available. I think it's, I don't think it's in a good interest to just abandon something that is useful. Whether, it may not be a 4-lane, it may not have 60-foot right of way, but residents that live in the community, that live there for a long time, have used that road and would have continued to use it. It was, as George said, it was temporarily closed in May for some construction and maintenance, as it always has been down through the years. Just so happened that didn't get done before the flood came through and washed it away. So there wasn't any intention to permanently close that road in May of that year. It just coincidentally got washed away by the flood, and I guess was chosen not to put back. But I, along with all my family and several of the residents that live in that community, in that area, are vehemently opposed to abandoning this road, whether there's any plans in the near future, whatever that may be, for its use. And so I just wanted to let y'all know that we are vehemently opposed to that, and I believe it would do the residents in the community and the county more benefit and good for it to be open than for it to be abandoned and closed. And I really don't quite understand why we weren't notified, why it seems like arbitrarily and I get what you're saying. I completely understand. You can't just keep going and going and going, but, we live as close to the north side of it as Hardy Family Farms do to the south side of it, or closer, probably, closer. And why that decision was made not to notify, we were notified before on multiple occasions. I've got copies of letters. We were informed about several different things in the past concerning Smith Road and what the county stance was on certain things, upcoming meetings about it. So, I was really taken back when I found out we weren't notified. And I guess maybe there's a good reason. I don't agree with it. I think it's wrong, but I guess it is what it is.
Well, I can assure you, Ted, that there was no motive.
No, I don't mean there's a motive, not at all. I guess it was just an oversight, but that's okay. It may have been an oversight, or it may have been a decision, and somebody made the best decision they felt like they should make. But I was just confused because every other time before we were notified by, and I've got copies of those letters where we were notified, and I just didn't understand why, now we weren't. But I appreciate the time, and I know y'all have a difficult job sometimes, but I really do wish you would kind of think this thing a little further through than just maybe Smith Road, because there is a community there. There's a lot of residents that live in the area that have lived there a long time and lived there a short time that utilize that thoroughfare, and it is public property. And it's been public property for a long time, and I just think that when you have something, it's a lot easier to keep it than it is to go try to get something back that you don't have. So I appreciate y'all's time. Thank you.
Thanks to both of you for your comments. So that completes the public participation on agenda items. Consent agenda, I don't need to read that again. I'll just ask for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Davis. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Caker. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I didn't get a response from Mr. Stover.
Repeat that, Frank?
I was telling the chairman I didn't get a response from you on that last vote.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
So carries. The agenda items carry 4-1.
No, Chuck, that was the consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I think that Commissioner Stover's was affirmative for approval. I might suggest you check.
What's your vote, Commissioner Stover? On the agenda.
Motion again.
On the agenda, it's action to approve the two agenda items that we read this morning at the work session.
Consent agenda.
Yeah, the consent agenda. I'll just read them again.
Can we do that vote again?
We'll do.
Just if y'all,
I was confused when he said while we're on it. I thought he was talking about.
So we're voting on consent.
I got you.
We're going to do a do-over.
let's just try a do-over.
Call a do-over.
All those in favor of a do-over?
Aye.
All right, under the consent agenda is action to approve the following consent agenda items. Not required to read, but I'm going to read them anyway to straighten out any confusion. Number 5 is to approve the updated Paulding County road naming and honorary designation policy. Number 6 is authorize the chairman to sign a quitclaim deed to abandon .291 acres of permanent easement to Four Star Real Estate Group Incorporated for development of Wildbrook. So now I'll entertain a motion on the two consent agenda items.
Motion to approve.
Motion approved by Commissioner Davis. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Caker. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Carries 5-0. Under old business, number 7 is action to adopt resolution 20-38 ratifying the settlement agreement in the case of Anthony A. Cooper Jr. versus Paulding County, Georgia. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Davis. Is there a second? Okay. Without a second, we can't discuss or vote.
Without a second, the motion would fail. So the action to ratify the settlement agreement would fail. That being the case, you can entertain a further motion, or you can move to the next item.
Would there be another motion? Hearing no other motion.
Motion to approve.
Okay.
He's entitled to make a second motion.
Okay, Commissioner Davis has made a motion to approve to adopt Resolution 20-38, ratifying the settlement in the case of Anthony A. Cooper Jr. versus Paulding County, Georgia. Is there a second? Okay, the motion to approve fails, and I don't hear another motion. So we're going to move into new business.
Jason, could you comment on, I'm not sure.
Yeah, so just to be clear, the motion to approve has failed for lack of a second at this point in time. This agenda item, Resolution 2038, is to approve a settlement agreement with Anthony Cooper versus Paulding County. This is the settlement agreement that was added to the agenda this morning. This is a piece of litigation that was unofficially settled late 2018, but it never made it to full board approval for consideration. So there was never a motion to approve that. So in this case, it was placed on this agenda to ratify the action that had unofficially occurred in October of 2018.
So we'll expect to see this in some form or fashion as new business in the near future.
That is possible.
Go back to the drawing board and discuss this until we have a resolution everybody can agree on, and we can get this behind us. I'm going to move on to new business. Item number 8 is action to adopt Resolution 20-39, abandoning a portion of the county road known as Smith Road. I'm sorry, I apologize. I didn't move far enough down. Under new business number 9 is action to approve the request to assist with funding in the amount of $20,000.
Hold on, he skipped 8.
Thank you. Exactly what I was reading. I just thought I'd erred there. I apologize. New business number 8 is action to adopt Resolution 20-39, abandoning a portion of the county road known as Smith Road, a.k.a. County Road 286. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Davis. Is there a second? Okay, motion fails for lack of a second. Would there be another motion that one of the post commissioners or myself would like to bring up at this time?
Motion to table to next meeting.
A motion to table by Commissioner Davis. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Caker.
Can we confirm the date of the next meeting, 2 weeks from today?
It's the 27th.
27th, thank you, sir.
Table until October the 27th. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? I only heard 3 ayes. me try that again.
Mr. Chairman, in the absence of under the Open Meetings Act, in the absence of a nay, all commissioners are presumed to be in favor of the motion.
Okay,
So unless somebody is opposed, it's a 5-0 vote.
okay. Well, we had 3 ayes and no other votes, so it carries 5-0.
Dave, could-
Just to be clear, and I'm thinking about this for a moment. I think that it would probably be appropriate to poll the individual members of the commission to see what their votes are on this issue at this time,
Okay,
one by one.
thank you, Mr. Phillips. We'll start with post 1, and we'll come down the line with your votes on item number 8, resolution 20-39.
my vote's in favor of the table motion.
One vote in favor of the table, Sandy?
In favor.
In favor? And I'm in favor.
In favor of the table.
Commissioner Stover, are you there?
Yes, I'm in favor of table.
Okay, the motion carries 5-0.
Dave, Jason, can I don't know the proper procedure, so I'm just gonna say it. It feels like number 7 was left unaddressed by the board. So if we're gonna revisit that, Jason, if I wanted to revisit that, say for the purpose of tabling it to the same meeting as the item we just made, would that be a motion to revisit number 7?
That would be appropriate.
Dave, I'd like to make a motion, we revisit number 7.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor here to revisit item number 7 by Commissioner Davis. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Caker. Is there any discussion?
I'll just say that the purpose of, I've just made this motion just to, I mean, my intent is, if this motion passes, my intent is to immediately make a motion to table to the same meeting, and we can talk through any issues or questions that we have in the next 2 weeks and deal with both of these issues at the same time.
Okay, so we have that motion.
I think Jason was getting ready to say something when I interrupted him.
No, you're good. Just for clarification purposes, we have a motion to resume consideration, which has been seconded. There's been discussion. In the event this motion passes, at that point in time during this meeting, item number 7 would be up for subsequent consideration.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. We're going to vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Carries 5-0. And
Dave, I'd like to make a motion, we table business number 7 to the meeting on the 27th.
here we have a motion by Commissioner Davis to address number 7 on the 27th, also as we are going to address new business item number 8. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Caker. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Commissioner Hart, I'm sitting right next to you.
Aye.
Okay.
Speak up, Chuck.
Okay, that motion carries 5-0. We're down to item number 9 under old business. Under new business, which is action to approve the request to assist with funding in the amount of $20,000 for the Hangar 1 project. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion approved by Commissioner Caker. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hart. Is there any discussion?
Yes, sir. We've got 3 items on the agenda today for the airport. I was just looking for the other one. It's on here. 105,000. Thank you. 105,000, 125,000, 140,000, $141,000 the airport. It's a lot of money. As I pull these apart and look at the 105,000, that's, we've already discussed some of this, and we've had, we know that that's related to the lease of that land, and we all want that aviation school. So I don't have any opposition there. On the number 10 with the $15,000, almost $16,000 for the repairs to the instrument landing system, that's an urgent emergency repair. It needs to be taken care of. We should handle this like we would handle, or at least in my opinion, we should handle this like we would a sewer line break or a water main break or I don't know, earth opens up and swallows a road, something like that. We fix the problem because it needs to be fixed. We just need to do that. On this one though, I feel like this should have come through capital request. It should have been part of the budget process. It should have been, we're in this stage where we've got an IGA, and it's a different IGA than we had before. I would argue a better IGA than what we had before. But we're still kind of in limbo between where I hope the county eventually gets with the airport being a department versus being off and run by a different board. That IGA that we have with them sets forth the number of funds that are sent from us to the airport authority to manage projects at the airport. And I'm not saying that this is a project that shouldn't be done. I get it. Like, I've seen pilots lounges, and I know they're important. And economic development is good, and I was glad Terry's report that we've got people out there using the airport and paying rent, and hopefully bringing in student pilots to get their check rides, and bringing in people who want to be student pilots, and doing all of that. And that's all part of the general aviation function of the airport that I said I would support when I ran for office. But my issue with this is not necessarily what it is, but how it's been done. At some point, the airport has to stop doing these projects and then coming to us for the remainder of the money. We had an issue with the building of the wall, and we had to put the brakes on that and re-quote it, and we've had issues with other projects there. And this needs to be more part of a budget process and less part of we need money to finish this project. If any of our department heads came to us with a capital request in the middle of a budget year, we would tell them, you know what, bring it at budget season, because it's the appropriate way to handle this. The airport's not being told that, and the airport needs to be told that. I get torn on this because I see the value in it. I do. But I also see the value in saying, hey, we need to draw the line as far as how this spending happens. And if you're going to do projects that you know that are going to require our assistance, you need to let us know up front. The board needs to understand that there's going to be a capital request. We need to be making that capital planning during the budget process season. I mean, that goes from March through August. It's a big window. So it feels like we could hit that, get that request in that window.
I would make a couple comments. Yeah, there has been a time in the history of the airport where it was them versus us. It's not like that anymore.
I agree.
We've learned to work as co-sponsors. We have not gotten an A+ on that effort, but we're working as two boards integrated in a commendable way, I believe, and that's going to make all the difference. Part of the problem was due to a gap in time there at a facility that the Airport Authority, in conjunction with the other co-sponsor, the Board of Commissioners, let rock on too long, and the building started to deteriorate, and without the identification of that, we could be out a lot more capital right now than we're going to be out. And there is a restructuring of the table of organization to allow the CEO of the airport to work a lot closer with our operations manager, and that's going to be definitely a step in the right direction for having a lot of good pre-planning on the capital needs of the airport. I think we've got a bright future in aviation maintenance for students, not just in Paulding County, but in the entire region. that will attract other money-making development, maybe in the form of a dorm or in housing here in Paulding County for students to live in. So I think a lot of positive things will follow Commissioner Davis and all the commissioners. So we use the terminology right the ship. We've righted the ship in a lot of ways, and I think we're going to reap good results because of that. I understand your concern, but I certainly think this $20,000 is money that needed to be invested in the economic development of our county, to start getting us in the black out there. There have been some other challenges with the contract with the FBO, the flight base operation. So there's been some other complications, as you know, Ron. So that would be my comments on this particular item.
Well, I agree with you, Dave. Things are a lot better than they were. It was contentious for a long time. And for those people who weren't able to be in that back room with the executive sessions, I tell you what, it was rough. There's some days it was stressful beyond what you could imagine, what I would have imagined. And it's better, and that's a good thing. And that's why I said I think that IGA is better. It was a big step in the right direction. And we've got some direction on, and some agreement, at least what I believe is some agreement from this board on what we'd like to see happen at that airport going forward. And that's also a good thing. But like you're talking about, Dave, talking about two boards integrated, working on the project, we are, but we aren't, because the airport authority makes those decisions, and we pay the airport authority a sum of money based on that IGA. And in the grand scheme of things, you're absolutely right. $20,000 is peanuts. I guess the bigger point that I'm trying to make is that capital spending, whether it be peanuts or not, needs to be planned, and we can't plan for things. I mean, this is, I'm within 3 months, and I'll be off the seat. You don't have to listen to me anymore. Well, you do if I come up there, but not from up here. But you going into next budget season, you've got to be able to plan that. You've got to know whether it's $20,000 or $100,000 or $500,000 or more. You have to know, and then we have to be able to make a decision at budget time. Yes, we can afford this. No, we can't afford that. Things that bypass. I don't have control of the mic. I'll lean back from it. How about that? Things that bypass the budget process are make it difficult for this board to function when this board is continually, or repeatedly, I guess is a better word, repeatedly asked to fund things that weren't in the planning process. And as we try to treat the airport more like a department, we have to remember that if other departmental requests come up outside of budget process, like capital requests for whatever, we have to weigh the urgency. But if it's something that can go through the budget planning process, it should go through the budget planning process. And it feels like this is one of those things that could have gone through the budget planning process. And I would like to see better planning.
You guys don't fall out of your chairs. Don't fall out of your chairs. But on this one, I'm going to agree with Ron and what he's saying. We do need to plan better. And I think going through some meetings, we're all on board to do that. I don't think it's going to be a problem in the future because, again, we've had meetings, we've talked, and we have got these things worked out. But I do agree with you, and things are looking up. So that's something that I don't think we'll have to worry about.
I see at least 3 department heads in the room, and if you add a comptroller in front of me here, that's 4. Have y'all ever submitted anything for a capital project that went over what you expected it to be?
Dave, this wasn't submitted to the board, and I guess that's my point. I
was
get that it's not,
submitted.
on the grand scheme, it's not a grant.
It was part of the plan,
A
though.
lot of money. It's not part of our plan, though. And it wasn't part of our budget. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong there. I don't believe that this $20,000 was in our budget to pay for that. So we have to find that $20,000 somewhere. And I know that when you're talking about budgets of tens of millions of dollars, 20 grand really isn't a lot of money, but this whole process needs to get corrected. And I'm glad that, for what Sandy said, because I know there are efforts to correct it. But it needs to have a stronger emphasis, and it needs to be spoken in a way that maybe it's heard a little better. That we need to. I know sometimes stuff comes up and stuff happens, and you have to address it, and it's part of life. It's part of handling the business of the county. But there are other times when you can look at a building and say, you know what, I'd like to finish the inside of that building. That building would be a nice place for a pilot's lounge. We should plan for that. And then you stop and think, how much is that going to cost, and where am I going to get it? Okay, EDO can give me so much money. I need this much more money. Can I go to the commission board and ask about that in their budget? Can they put that in their budget for me? And then at that point, it's budgeted. Everybody knows. I mean, again, I'll say it again. I don't have a problem with the hangar getting finished and the build out and the pilot's lounge and all that. But planning is the key, and we can't allow the precedent to keep coming back and keep coming back for, oh, we need this, we have this project, and we need this money.
Well, now with economic development starting to happen out at the airport, I can understand him coming in asking for the money, but you're right, we do need to pre-plan. It's just, we need economic development out there, and you agree with that.
Yeah.
And I think everything's going to be fine.
All your points are well taken, and
Can I ask a question?
sure.
Somebody may have to answer out of the crowd, but what percentage of T hangars, corporate hangars, and rental space would you say, just roughly, what percentage of space do we have available? Can you answer, Mr. Tibbetts?
Chuck, while he's coming, there's a full bottle of water next to you. Would you pass it down for me,
Yes,
please?
sir.
No, the full
You want
one.
mine?
Not the one
I've
you
only took
drank
2
out
drinks
of.
out.
I don't care.
With the opening of this space, we will have 2 empty offices that I have interest in already that I believe will be rented probably by the end of the month, which will put us at 100% capacity in all of the space that we have. And I have 30 pilots on the waiting list for T hangars right now, and I believe 6 on the waiting list for corporate hangars right now. So we simply can't build fast enough for the demand that we have. And I'll point out that the airport has been in a time capsule for 6 years, actually 8 years, since about 2012. There's been virtually no construction that's taken place out there. We have marked time, we have fought, we have argued, and now we've moved on, and I'm hoping that, I accept the criticism. I believe it's valid, but I'm not a department head, therefore I'm not a part of the budgeting process, so it puts me at a little bit of a disadvantage.
Yes, sir, but if you can ask us for this money, you can ask us for it during the budget process. I get what you're saying, and your point is valid, but if you can ask for $20,000 now, you can ask for $20,000 in the budget process.
And he may be a department, who knows? We're going to see where this takes us. But my point here in asking him was that, not really to get you two in a controversy, was to our return on investment. I just wanted people, before they vote, to understand your ROI on this is...
He's going to have it rented almost immediately.
Yes. And it's going to continue to happen unless it trends in a different direction. So anything we can build out there is going to be to the benefit not of just that airport, but of us. That's the partnership. And under this partnership, the 20% I don't feel like is I really didn't feel like it was a bad thing to do, because when you think about what we've given them in the IGA, it's enough to keep them alive and keep the lights on. You know what I mean?
I know.
Really. We know that because it's expensive.
And the IGA is meant for operations.
We got to help them grow. I mean, and I guess that's what our vote should be here today, is if you want to help them grow, yay. If you don't want to, nay.
Well, you can help, oh, go ahead, Brian.
I think we all want to see the airport move forward and, grow out there. But I agree with Ron and Sandy that we're not saying we don't want to see growth, but we want to make sure we have a good plan and budget instead of just coming last minute and asking for it. It's kind of hard to make a plan, whether or not it's in your own household or your business or the county. Anything, if you don't make a plan, you're going to fight the whole time. The plan is the best thing we can have, and we have been talking with Terry, and I appreciate, because I know where this airport's going to end up one day, and I'm going to be proud to see it get there. But we got to have that plan, and I know Terry's working on a plan. So we all want to see it move forward, but what Ron and Sandy is saying, I do agree with tremendously, is have a plan and while we can, help with the plan.
I look forward to being invited to the budgetary process this year. I really do.
So Chuck,
And we have a 5-year plan. Again, I'm on the board out there. It's a very, I would say, balanced as far as being conservative but aggressive at the same time, and additional hangars. And might be a good time to remind us that one Gulfstream 650 out there brings in the equivalent of the ad valorem tax as 108 homes, average homes in Paulding County. So a couple more hangars out there, and then a couple more, and then 10 years from now, a few more. I certainly think the property tax for citizens and millage rate can go down.
well, I hope that there's a board agreeable to the low taxes when that happens. I would like to say, Chuck, just to mention, not to pick a fight or anything, but I don't think it's a fair assessment of what you said about voting yes if you want growth at the airport and no if you don't, because you can flip that around and say vote yes if you're for unplanned budgeting and no if you're not. So, I want the airport to grow and be a successful general aviation airport, and I think that on the horizon, we can see it. And Brian mentioned the vision for the airport, and I think that we're not there yet, but I think that airport has the potential to be a huge asset for the people of the county, whether it's making money or not. It'll bring people here, and people that come and use services at the airport will eat here and stay here and maybe move here, So I do see the potential there, but I did just want to clarify that one point, because...
And for the record, criticism noted and accepted.
Thanks, sir.
So we're through with a good, healthy, fairly lengthy discussion on item number 9. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
Carries 4-1. New business, item 10 is action to approve assistance with funding for emergency repairs to the instrument landing system in the amount of $15,913. And since I've used an ILS a lot of times in my life, I'm going to make the motion that we approve.
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Davis. Is there any discussion?
I asked my son, who's taking flight lessons, what is an ILS? And he said, and I quote, "It's really, really awesome." Apparently it tells you if you're too high or too low coming in. Is that right, Terry? Hey, he's right. All right.
Any other comments?
I'd like to make a comment just because I think that last vote, my phone was on mute, and I voted with an aye, so I just wanted to make sure. I don't know if it's too late to be counted or not, but that last vote was an aye.
Yeah. You were counted, Commissioner Stover. I thought I heard you say aye, but just keep saying it loudly.
I may have. I thought it was on mute. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. We're voting on number 10 now. We've got a motion and a second on the instrument landing system. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Carries 5-0. Item 11 is action to approve change order number 8 for the construction manager at Risk Services for the Richland Creek Reservoir Water Treatment Plant Etowah River Pump Station and the Reservoir Pump Station to extend PC Construction's final completion date to December 31st, 2020, with no increase in cost. I do hear a motion.
Motion approved.
That was close. Motion to approve by Commissioner Hart. Is there a second?
Second?
Second by Commissioner Caker. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries 5-0. Item number 12 is action to adopt Resolution 20-34, authorizing the transfer of $105,000 to an interest-bearing account to be used by the county for future aeronautical projects approved by the Federal Aviation Administration at the Paulding Northwest Atlanta Airport. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion approved by Commissioner Davis. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Stover. You got to be faster there. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any- Motion carries 5-0. 13 is action to adopt Resolution 20-35, reappointing Johnny McBurris to the Paulding County Board of Assessors for a term ending December 31st, 2023. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion approved by Commissioner Hart. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Davis. Is there any discussion? Do we need to read this resolution?
No, there's no requirement to read the resolution.
Okay, a lot of pretty words of it. Okay, any discussion?
I would just like to say thank you to Reverend McBurrows for continuing to sit in this seat. I know he's a very busy man, but we like to have him around.
He's all right.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Number 14 is action to adopt Resolution 20-36, appointing Lydia Rollins to the Paulding County Board of Assessors for a term ending December 31st, 2023. I make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second?
Second.
I beat you.
She beats you that time, Brian. All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Go Lydia.
Glad to see Ms. Rollins getting involved. I know that they live in the county for about 20 years now and really care about the county, so glad to see her get appointed.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Brian.
Well, she's got 2 sons and a husband for many years, so the question about whether or not you can deal with, how many people are on there, James? 5 or 7? 5. Think you can deal with 4 men at once?
I got it covered.
Okay. Awesome resume. I can't believe anybody could major in chemistry. I barely passed that. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries 5-0. Congratulations. Number 15 is action to award the purchase of 2 LifePak 15 V4 cardiac monitors and associated equipment to Stryker Medical in the amount of $90,000. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion approved by Commissioner Stover. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Davis. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries 5-0. Number 16 is action to award the purchase of a SWAT 6,300 square foot canopy to Shady Vent Construction in the amount of $61,875. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve?
A motion approved by Commissioner Caker. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Davis. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries 5-0. Number 17 is action to adopt Resolution 20-37 confirming executive session for the purposes of pending and potential litigation. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
It's approved by Commissioner Davis. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hart. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carries 5-0. That's the conclusion of the regular business. We have no one who has signed up for non-agenda items. We have no executive session. I'm going to begin the commissioner comments and ask our county administrator. You know, probably some of you have already voted or sent in absentee ballots, but there are a couple of questions on there, and one of them was originated here by this board, and also Representative Gullett was very helpful, but I'm going to ask Baker Street if he'll tell you what you're voting for or what you're voting against if you don't want it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. But before I do, if the board will permit me to wish somebody a happy birthday today, JAYSON PHILLIPS, our county attorney.
I make a motion we don't sing.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for letting me do that. I think he knew that was probably coming deep down inside. I appreciate the opportunity to speak. And I just want to give a little bit of some background facts about state courts in Georgia. There are currently 71 counties in Georgia with state courts. So as everybody knows, we have 159 counties. Some counties are very small, some counties are very big, but there are 71 of these courts in Georgia. State courts are the highest level of county-supported trial courts in the state's judicial branch of government. State courts have jurisdiction over criminal and traffic misdemeanor cases. They also have jurisdiction over civil cases, except those with exclusive jurisdiction, which is vested by the superior courts in Georgia. And this is an interesting fact. Over 76% of Georgians are served by state courts, according to the Georgia Council of State Court Judges. So that's a large percentage of our population in Georgia that are served by these courts. And again, there's 71 courts in Georgia. I just appreciate the opportunity to get that information out to the public.
What are some specific cases they would handle to prevent Judge Beavers or Bucci or Lyles from having to take up their time?
Well, currently, we have a situation where we have a superior court here in Paulding County, but they handle not only felony but misdemeanor cases. So there are a lot of misdemeanor cases on their dockets, and when they have misdemeanor cases, that takes away some of the time to get to the felony cases. So you could have some minor traffic offense, and then you could have some serious felony case on the same docket, which is currently the situation.
Thanks for that brief and good report. Brian, you want to say anything? We're looking at your ghost here.
What did you say? For me to say something?
Yes, sir. This is the post commissioner's reminder time, or you can say.
Just a reminder. I'm sure we all said it, want to be saying just a reminder to go vote. Very important election year, and I'm out here in Colorado. It's beautiful as this state is, and it's much great country I'm getting to see. I can't wait to get back to Paulding County. So I'll be ready to come back in a couple of days.
We look forward to having you. All right, sir.
I'm thankful for the hearty debate we've had up here. And there's some other things that I actually had my mind made up on, and these gentlemen took time out of their day to come out here, and I want to thank the Parrish brothers. And I do want to, we're going to dip into this thing a little bit harder, and we'll get at it and get a better resolution. I'm glad we serve a board that's willing to stop things for a second and figure it out. And I know it's been going on for some time, but not all of us were in that conversation. Thanks.
Thank you.
I want to remind everybody that this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, October 28th at, let's see, where is it?
The airport.
At the airport, Terry. We are doing Empowering Women. Men are welcome. However, you have to go to the chamber website to register. And I will be speaking along with my nurse oncologist about breast cancer and telling my story. So it's pretty interesting. It's been a long road, but I survived it, and I look forward to telling it. What was the other thing he told me to? Me too. I guess that's it.
Sandy, I'm glad you're sharing your story. Sometimes we go through things in life, and we don't know why. And I think sometimes after it's all over with, the opportunity that we have to share our story with someone else going through it does a lot for everybody involved. So thank you for being willing to step out and share that story. Sorry, that wasn't planned. It just kind of came out. Today we voted on 2 people to serve on a county board, and in November, is that right? November or December? December. We will be having nominees from the commissioners to serve on county boards, everything from planning and zoning to cemetery preservation and a whole lot in between. And so it's a lot of boards and a lot of opportunities for citizens who love the county and want to get involved and try to help make a difference at home. If anyone in the room or watching through the internet has an interest in serving on a board, I would encourage you to reach out to your commissioner or really any commissioner. Typically those board placements have to be done in the post where, there's a slot for each post commissioner. So, but if you have a desire to serve, I can tell you that one of the most difficult things about this job is finding people that are willing to serve on those boards and who will actually show up and participate. And when you find them, they're like little gold nuggets, because you just have to hold on to them because they're wonderful people who actually help with that. And so if you have a desire to serve on a county board, if you know somebody up here, you can call them. If you don't know somebody, call the office or grab us before or after a meeting or whatever, and we'll get you connected to the right people to maybe help where your interest lies.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you out here in front of me for being here. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Caker. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We can't adjourn. Stover didn't say. We stand adjourned.